She arrived ready to celebrate, only to realize something was terribly, terrifyingly wrong. The morning air in the village was crisp, carrying the scent of damp earth and the faint aroma of roasted yams from nearby kitchens. Eziamaraa woke before the sun, excitement coursing through her veins. After weeks of planning, arranging, and financing the so-called wedding of Christopher's younger brother, today was finally here. She smoothed her dress, checked on her children, Jewel and Star, and rehearsed her smile in the mirror. Everything felt perfect. Everything should have been perfect. Except it wasn't. The first odd sign came the moment she stepped into the courtyard. His father had arrived, greeting them warmly, but her eyes immediately scanned the surroundings, and the faces she expected weren't there. None of Christopher's siblings. None of the aunts or uncles she had been told would attend. Only vendors. Helpers. A handful of village neighbors, curious, but not celebratory.
"Where is everyone?"
she asked, her voice tight but steady. Christopher smiled calmly, reassuring as ever.
"Oh, they'll come later. They're helping with final preparations. Nothing to worry about."
Eziamaraa nodded, but unease pricked at her stomach. She had seen him organize family events countless times. Siblings never missed a wedding unless there was a serious reason. And yet, here they were, absent, silent, invisible. The next few minutes were filled with frantic calls. Eziamaraa dialed the numbers she knew by heart. Sister-in-law? No answer. Younger brother? Ringing, nothing. The tension coiled tighter in her chest. She turned to Christopher for reassurance.
"It's fine,"
he said softly, placing a hand on her shoulder.
"Really. It's fine. They'll be here. You've done everything perfectly."
But his calmness didn't reach her. Something in the air was wrong, subtle, but undeniable. The vendors moved as if they knew a secret, whispering among themselves. The neighbors exchanged glances that didn't quite meet her eyes. Even the children seemed to sense it, clinging a little closer to her legs. Eziamaraa forced herself to breathe. Loyalty. Trust. Support. Christopher had always been honest, reliable, transparent. Why start doubting now? Why let fear creep into her confidence? Minutes passed. Then hours. And still, no one arrived. She tried again, calls, messages, anything. Even his close friends, whom she contacted in a panic, responded with confusion. "We thought you knew." One replied cryptically.
"He said this was his brother's wedding. Isn't it?"
Eziamara's heart thumped harder. Something was wrong. Something significant. The threads of her world, carefully woven over years of trust, began to fray. Her hands trembled as she turned to Christopher, expecting comfort. But he remained composed. Smiling. Calm. The very image of a husband ready to support a bride. And in that composure, she felt the sharpest sting. Not anger. Not yet. Just a quiet, gnawing confusion that left her frozen. Her mind raced. Why is everyone missing? Where are they? Why is he not worried? Every instinct screamed at her to ask, to demand answers, to confront. But something deeper held her back. Loyalty. Trust. A lifetime of loving someone who had never given her reason to doubt him. So she chose to wait. To observe. To stay calm. To support. But the unease grew heavier with every passing minute. The courtyard buzzed with movement, yet the absence of his family hung like a shadow over everything. Jewel tugged at her sleeve.
Mama, where is everyone?
Eziamaraa forced a smile.
They'll be here soon, darling. Don't worry.
Her own voice sounded fragile, even to her. Something wasn't right. Deep in her chest, a warning stirred, one she couldn't yet name. Christopher caught her eye and smiled. That smile should have reassured her. But it didn't. Something in the tilt of his head, the faint curl of his lips, even the way he avoided mentioning his missing family, sent a ripple of dread down her spine. And still, she stayed silent. Because loyalty keeps you quiet when suspicion wants to scream. Because love blinds you when reason begs for clarity. Because trust can make you complicit in your own undoing. Eziamaraa laughed nervously, pressing a hand to her chest as if to quiet the pounding in her heart. She helped the caterers. Adjusted decorations. Welcomed the few guests who had arrived. Everything, she told herself, would be fine. But deep inside, a whisper grew louder. Something is wrong. And by the time she would understand the truth, it would already be too late. The wedding had begun. Yet a crucial presence was missing. And in that absence, betrayal quietly took its place.
Morning light on the kitchen floor. I built this house from love and more. Framed your fears, hung up your past. Thought we were built to really last. I wore devotion like a crown. Held you up, I held you down. Skipped my needs to fit your plans. Signed my soul with trembling